What's up, y'all? Thank y'all for joining. All right, so um, it's really only one crypto ticker that I want to talk about for today's session. What's up? How you doing? Thank you for hanging out with me on another Saturday night. I appreciate you, Jigga. Um, but yeah, so there is, and I'm not, you guys may be aware of this already, but there's one ticker. I say ticker because coin or whatever token that tends to trade in the opposite direction of the crypto markets consistently. And that's API 3. So I'm not even sure what this token represents or anything like that. I haven't looked it up in a while, but it's one that tends to slip under my radar, and recently did. The other night I was looking at it and it was like around in the $5 range, and I haven't looked at the chart in quite some time, and so I was just I just glanced at it because I have it on a widget on my screen. So anytime I log into my phone, it's one of the few coins that whose price that I can see without going into any exchange. So I saw that it was in the $5 range. Last night it shot up to like $9. And the thing about this one is it's crazy volatile, but you can almost bet your bottom dollar that if the rest of the crypto market is falling, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, this one is going to shoot up. And I think as we talk, it's shooting up again. So it hit $9 and like 11 cents, and then a short while ago it was back down in the $7 range, and the last time I looked it was like eight and a half, in the $8.50 range or something like that. So yeah, so I'm gonna take a look at that chart, and just refresh my analysis and see how that one is performing. Let me just take this schematic one off. API 3. Okay. All right. So, man. All right. So this is a 4 hour chart. And I don't want to look at the 4 hour chart quite yet. Let me check out the weekly chart because, again, like I said before, it's been a while since I've looked at this chart, and um, I think I'm gonna go on a different time frame. Not a different time frame, but another platform, exchange. I mean, just so I can have a clean chart. But yeah, so the last time that I, did this analysis, um, I pretty much identified an area, a pattern, and then a possible, three possible scenarios. So price action is either going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to go sideways. So I like to draw my charts to account for those, or at least two of those scenarios. So with this one, I had, okay, I think that if it consolidates, this is where it's gonna, kind of bounce around at, and you see that's what happened. Then I had my bullish target if it broke out of this pattern. Then I had my bearish target if it broke down from this pattern. And it came out of this pattern, gave a little fake out here, and then just kind of consolidated for several weeks. And then the last 2 weeks, that thing has just been going. And like I said, I saw it, yesterday right around this area, and I didn't bother going to look at my chart, unfortunately. Um, so, I really had no context as to, what could be happening at that time with this token. So yeah, right now it is hitting resistance right up here. So That's a key area on the weekly chart. And I want to say, I'm not completely sure, but this might be, close to an all-time high for this one. But you see, it's got a supply zone up here in this area, and so I'm gonna do my lovely little rectangle here, just so I can account for that zone. All right, so up inside here, this thing, has historically sold off. I don't have technically, I don't have reason to think that that wouldn't happen this time. It could happen again. This thing could also just keep going. At which point, I'd have to do some measuring to kind of estimate where this thing could possibly go. But yeah, uh, let me see. Eh, I low key feel like this thing is going to keep going. And that's just based on how the momentum is looking like. The momentum is fresh. It's just getting started. Um, but I definitely think I'm going to keep an eye on it inside this $9 to $10 area, and see if maybe if it drops, then I'll be looking to short it. But if excuse me, if it keeps going, I'll be looking to jump in. But I definitely don't want to jump in when it's first reaching, or actually, this is the second time that it's reaching the supply zone. So this is definitely one that you want to pay attention to, especially when the crypto markets are dropping. It's one that you may want to consider going long in, because, like I said, it tends to trade in the opposite direction as the rest of the crypto market. And you can see up here all these, down arrows. Everything is down. Sand, Ethereum, Link, Bitcoin, Harmony, Cosmos, Polkadot, and API 3 is up pretty strongly. Um, it's up over 100% this week. Um, and let's take a look at the daily chart to see how much it's up by today. Probably at least 50% today. Oh, well, 23% today. But yeah, this breakout on the daily is just beautiful. And I just really wish that I would have gone and just looked at my chart when I saw it trading in that $5 range, because yeah, but it is what it is. But it's real difficult to watch, multiple uh, assets, and much less um, the entire crypto market. Like it's impossible. So I try not to beat myself up about it too much anymore. But this is one you want to keep in the back of your mind, that hey, Bitcoin is dropping. Let me go see what API 3 is doing. Um, so yeah, like I said, I pay very close attention to this daily chart and see if it rejects this area. If it rejects this area, I'd probably be looking for a short. And the thing is with this one, you kind of got to watch it because it can be very volatile. It'll make a strong move in a short period of time. It pulls back strongly. So you want to definitely be very strategic about entries and exits, especially with this one. Um, oh, what's up, Lisa? Thank you for watching. But yeah, that I'm sure there are other ones that trade in the opposite direction as the crypto markets, but this is just one of the main ones that I've noticed. And I've been watching this, for several months at this point, and it consistently pops when the crypto markets are dropping. Other than that, I really wouldn't mess with it, um, unless I'm looking to, if I would say you see that the crypto markets are dropping and it's kind of like a sustained drop, this is one to jump in to the long side. But if the crypto markets are climbing and it's a pretty sustained climb, this is one that you're looking to short. Otherwise, I, I, I I wouldn't touch it, because it'll consolidate for quite some time before those pops and drops happen. As you can see, just several days since October, this one has been range bound and then finally broke out a few days ago. So probably would have got ate up in here unless you just buying the actual token. That's a different story. But um, in my opinion, it's getting a little overextended at this point. But like I said, I'm gonna keep a close eye on this one because if it drops, I definitely want to try to get a little short, um, small return in on this one. Probably look for no more than like maybe a 10% return with this one. But I'm probably gonna set some alerts for uh probably probably about 970. Um, let me go back to the weekly chart. Probably 970. Um, and then maybe about 1050. Yeah, 1050 is a good number. Set some alerts there and just kind of see what happens as the price approaches that area. Um, that's yeah, that's all I can really say about this one. Um, this 4 hour chart. And 4 hour chart shows. Sheesh. Let's see. 4 hour chart shows that this thing could really see $10 soon. Over the next few days or so, this could hit the top of this zone. So definitely going to be watching the daily chart and the 4 hour chart, especially for this one. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Jigga, I haven't looked at POWR since you asked me to look at it a couple of weeks ago. Um, do you remember what happened with it? I haven't checked back on it since that night. But I can pull it up right now. Oh, okay, I see it's consolidating. Let me see. Okay, so looks like it's just kind of not really breaking out or breaking down. Let me go to the weekly chart. That'll be better. Looks like it's not breaking out or breaking down currently, as far as the weekly chart is concerned, out of this pattern. So what I would do is draw. Oh shoot! Think I'm on Thinkorswim. Draw a like a little area where it could possibly consolidate about right here. So let me see what those numbers are. So about 0.544 and about 0.618. So that's kind of where it's been consolidating over the past 4 to 5 weeks. And so I would pretty much watch those areas. So I would probably set some alerts at those levels. So here's how I do my alerts, and this is why I don't necessarily do alerts like a paid alert service, because I do them differently. Like I don't just say, oh, go long on power at whatever. So what I'll do is I'll put out some levels, and for me, my levels imply that, hey, if it rejects this level, you need to go in the opposite direction. But however, if it beats and holds this level, then it's okay to go long. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's just how my mind thinks, but I realize that not everybody thinks that way. And so because I don't necessarily consistently put that disclaimer out there, and I don't really want to, I just don't do paid alert service, because I like to be more so on the teaching side. So I would, for me, I would say Okay, let me set an alert for 0.5432 or 544, what I said the first time. And so, boom, my alert goes off. Let me go check the charts. If it looks like it's falling below that level, then okay, I'm probably going to short it. But okay, I go and that alert goes off. I go and look at it. Okay, it looks like it's going to bounce here. Okay, let me go long here. And then at that point, I'm looking for an exit probably up here to the top of that zone. You know what I'm saying? So about 0.618. Um, and the same, the opposite applies as well. So my alert goes off for 0.618. My mind doesn't automatically think, oh, it's bullish. Let me go and see. Because you got to keep in mind that that's also resistance. And resistance, the price resist is resistance. So um, that might be an opportunity to go short, especially if you go look at it and it's kind of rejecting that area again. Okay, well, let me go short here. Even though, most people would think, oh, that's a bullish alert. No, that's just showing you a zone so you can possibly find some opportunity um, between those two levels. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I would do with. What's up, Chaz? So, Jigga, that's pretty much what I would do with power is just set alerts at those two levels and keep in mind that those are key levels on the weekly chart. So you may not necessarily see, have your alerts going off, all willy-nilly, but it looks like the price is kind of right there at the lower end of that range right now. So I would set some alerts at those two levels, and just keep in mind that hey, it's kind of range bound right now between these two levels. So it allows you to kind of see the chart without actually looking at the chart. And so you just kind of make your decision from there based on, when those alerts go off. Okay, I'll take a look at AVAX, and I'm gonna tell you, AVAX owes me money. Like for real, for real. AVAX has kicked my ass more than once, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I've gotten some of my money back from AVAX, but AVAX it can be a tough trade. I can't even lie to you. Um, but let's take a look at AVAX. I haven't looked at AVAX in quite some time. So it'd be good to look at it now, see where it is. Okay, so AVAX is trading right here at trying to let's do that. Okay. So AVAX is trading right in a zone that I identified, a while ago. I was doing some analysis and had it going up to here. But right now, it looks like AVAX is possibly confirming this area as a new demand zone. So it looks like this area is holding. However, we have some sellers sitting right here in this area. So right around about $90 or so. Notice that whenever AVAX gets above 90, really before it even gets to 90, it starts getting weak lately. But right now, it's holding this trend to the downside as well. So we're definitely seeing higher lows on AVAX right now. So that's a positive sign if you're a bull. So for me, if I were considering a position in AVAX, I would probably be long as it stays above this purple trend line. To be honest with you, but just keep in mind that there is some resistance up here, in the high 80s to low 90s area. Matter of fact, here is some of that resistance right here. So we kind of got a symmetrical triangle situation happening on AVAX right now. So this thing is gonna do something, whether it be breakout or breakdown. That's pretty strong possibility of a breakout or a breakdown toward uh, maybe the last couple of weeks of February or first week of March, somewhere in there. It's gonna break out or break down. I don't want to say imply that it's only gonna go bullish, but really you don't know until you get a breach of this downside, this support area, or a breach of this area here. So definitely watch AVAX over the next few weeks because in my opinion, it's definitely going to make a move. So probably watch the area between about $70 and $80, and then also watch the area between about 90 and 100. So for sure, I would probably watch those areas um, if you want to try to catch a move on AVAX. Now, I don't think that AVAX is one of the ones that trades in the opposite direction of the market, so keep that in mind. Like I said, API 3 is that one that does. So for me, AVAX, I would just be watching between these two areas and knowing that, keeping in mind that these areas represent a zone. So, like I said, 90 to 100 on the upside and 80 to 70 on the downside. And so, of course, that leaves the area from about 80 to 90 where it could consolidate, or it really could consolidate in a wider zone because AVAX is pretty volatile. But like I said, over the past 4 weeks, it's been pretty bullish, holding that bullish trend. But I expect to see some continuing lessening of that volatility before it finally makes a move. But like I said, I think it's going to make a move soon. I hope that helps. I appreciate your questions. Anybody else have questions or want me to check out some tickers or some crypto joints? I'm happy to do it. If you missed the beginning, I talked about API 3 and just a quick note on that one. API 3 tends to trade in the opposite direction of the crypto markets. If you look at it now, it's one of the few that is strongly bullish right now, and has been for the past 2 weeks. So um, definitely check that one out, especially if you are not, uh, especially if you don't know how to short crypto or short anything. It'd be a lot easier for you to say, okay, crypto markets are down. I don't know how to short Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything else, but I remember Lance said the API 3 is bullish. So let me go grab API 3 and I can still make some money to the upside while the rest of the crypto market is just, kind of not necessarily falling off a cliff, but I'll say rolling down a hill that's not very steep right now. So yeah, I appreciate you, Jigga. Thank you. Really, API 3 was the main one that I wanted to talk about. Uh, Positions that I am currently in. I am currently shorting Ethereum. Um, so I guess I'll take a look at Ethereum and see, how that's going. Um, let's take a look at and I've been in this short for, I mean, crypto make you feel like a day is like a week, but I think I got in it early yesterday. But yeah, so basically, I was looking for Ethereum to break this area here, which is close to 3,000, so a little bit below 3,000. I was looking for it to break down below here, and then my plan was to enter here and then probably exit somewhere in the $2,600 range. So I went and I gave myself a little time as far as the loan is concerned. I think 28 days, either 14 or 28 days. And so I'm just holding to see where it goes. My analysis says it's going to go to low 2,600 at least. So, that's what I'm waiting for. I think so far it's hit 26.95, and I didn't even see it by the time I looked at it and, just kind of checked up on the position. It was back above 2,700. So if you've been looking, Bitcoin has been kind of teeter-tottering between like 39 and 40. Um, excuse me. And then Ethereum has been stuck in this $2,700 range, like all day. I'm getting sick of it. But determined to stick with it, and just, kind of see how it turns out. But so far it's holding above this key level on the weekly chart that I drew a while ago. So yeah, really with Ethereum, and if it was right here right now, I probably would not try to get in a short position nor buy any bear tokens, because it's really not far from my exit already. Like my exit is like 100 points away, and Ethereum can move 100 points in a blink of an eye, really. So if I were, wanting to, get in on Ethereum, I would probably set an alert for that low 2600s area, probably like 26, 25, somewhere in there. Set an alert. Boom. If the alert triggers, come look at the chart and assess whether Ethereum looks like it's gonna bounce, or if it's gonna fall. So if it's gonna continue to fall, okay, let me try to short it down to maybe 2400, which will be my next one of my next levels. Or if it's gonna bounce, let me jump in and to the long side and see if maybe it heads back up over 28 to toward 2900. So yeah, Ethereum's been pretty much consolidating between those couple of levels, and you can really take advantage of consolidation, in just being patient and waiting for the price to hit those extremes. So it hits the top of the range, boom, let me short it. Hits the bottom of the range, boom, let me go long. So, you don't necessarily have to sit on your hands when things are consolidating, just depending on how tight that range is, how volatile it is, and really your own plan and how you perform in uh, based on what phases of the market cycle that particular asset is in. So currently in an Ethereum short position, real money, and like I said, just waiting to see how that goes. And if you guys tune in next week, ask me how Ethereum went. I might either still be in it or maybe I've sold it. But just remind me and I'll give you guys an update on how that goes. Sam was one that was called out in my Discord group. Actually called out at around 374 was the price, I want to say. Why is this doing this? I'm not sure. So yeah, got called out around here, and looking for a move down to 3. So and now that I'm looking at it, his analysis pretty much lined up with mine as well. Um, for me, it gave a signal up, above $4. And this thing is down, pretty decently, especially if you're trading on margin. Doesn't take a big move to make, decent money, depending on um, the multiples as far as that margin is concerned. But yeah, call this week. Heads up on the shot. Yeah, Winslow, did you just watch those or did you get in those? I saw that Shop Monday and Tuesday, Shop made a pretty decent move as far as bullishness is concerned. I want to say Tuesday, Shop was up like maybe over $40 or something like that. But after that, it was just down, down, down. And let me tell y'all something about Shop. Shop tends to sell off after earnings, no matter what. Like they can just post just a blowout earnings and they are going to sell off. They're going to pop and then they're going to sell off. So even if you're like, oh, and let me tell you, Shop is one of those big money or premiums where you're going to be paying out the ass for contracts. So if you're one of the ones, like me, like, hey, I don't want to risk that going into earnings. Let me wait till after earnings so I don't get caught up in that IV crush, and let me buy some puts because I would say probably 7, 8 times out of 10, Shop is going to sell off on earnings. Some of us in our group, we actually watch and wait for Shop to report, and then we look to buy puts when the market's open on Shop. And this most recent one has been the biggest sell off that I've seen or that I can remember since I've been watching this pattern. And Shop, I want to say Shop was maybe around 800, low 800s, right before earnings. And now Shop is in the $600 range. So I mean, big, big, big sell off for Shop. Okay, let's see. I'll be forgetting to put y'all questions up on the screen. AVA. So I'll take a look at AVA in just a second. All right. So what drove the crypto market cap over 2 trillion in 2021, and what caused the money to leave out toward the end of the year? Do you see any indicators where money will come back in? So Jigga, what we saw was crypto being in its bullish cycle. So crypto runs on cycles where it'll be bullish for a short time, then it'll be bearish for a short time, and then it cycles back over and over and over again. So that's what caused the money to move out toward the end of the year. It was just the end of the bull cycle. And some stats that I saw were that the crypto bull cycle typically lasts like a little over 500 days. And toward the end of 2021, it was at that end of, that just over 500 something days. So keep that in mind. Couple that with the charts showing that there was a possibility that the cycle was over. So when people were saying, "Hey, crypto or Bitcoin's gonna hit 100,000 in 2021," you never heard me say that because the charts were never saying that that was possible. You know what I'm saying? So I just go with what the charts say is possible. I think a lot of people were just throwing out numbers based on, maybe fundamentals, maybe based on, hey, crypto, or, maybe math like last bull cycle crypto or Bitcoin appreciated this much. It'll do the same this cycle. But if you go back and look at crypto, or I keep saying crypto, but I mean Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin on a weekly chart. And what you'll see is Bitcoin is trading like this. And it's been oscillating between I don't remember what the downside number is, but between like 60K and I'll say, 30. 30 isn't the exact number, 60 isn't the exact number, but just to get a sense for the range that Bitcoin has been trading in for over a year now. So that, to me, that doesn't show that, hey, Bitcoin is going to hit 100 plus in 2021. Now, what I did see at one time was that Bitcoin had the possibility of hitting 90 to 105 by April of this year. But since some major trend lines were broken, so the major trend on Bitcoin was broken, that opinion is invalid now. So I can't even say that anymore. And I really don't know at this point. Um, Matter of fact, I might just take a quick look at Bitcoin's chart just to kind of get an update, get an idea for where it could be headed now. Um, but yeah, a lot of what drove the market cap so high was new money coming in. Like if you go, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I go on my Facebook and I see people that were never, ever, ever talking about anything remotely to do with investing or trading. Everybody's trying to get some now, so lots of new money coming in after the pandemic. Um, that drove the market cap. The metaverse was driving the market cap. And at one time, the metaverse tokens were trading kind of in the opposite direction of crypto as the overall crypto market. So that was a big thing too, the metaverse. People were all excited about the metaverse and buying up, metaverse this, metaverse that. So a bunch of new money, coupled with, crypto already being in a bull cycle. Um, and so, yeah, it just money rotating out of crypto. I'm not quite sure if it's a situation where people are going to cash. I mean, because you're not really getting a return with that when you think about inflation. But so far, and a lot of crypto enthusiasts talk about decoupling, but right now people see crypto, or the market see crypto just like they see the stock market, and that's why they trade in the same sentiment, generally speaking. So indicators where money will come back in. I would go pull up a chart of that's been tracking the cycles for the crypto market. Like I said, we just came out of the bull cycle, so right now we're in a bearish cycle. But really, if you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that, they've just been kind of ranging. While people were thinking, oh, this thing is breaking out and new all-time highs, Bitcoin was really just in a range, and that's it. And because that range is so wide, it may seem like a bullish move, and but no, no, just a range. But yeah, hopefully that gives you some insight on where you can go or how to start with paying attention to that. And also watch the price action. So watch when you go to those weekly charts, set alerts for the upside or downside of those ranges, and just wait until you those alerts are triggered. And then when those alerts are triggered, boom, go look at the chart and see, is this thing does this thing have the possibility of breaking down further, or is this thing about to break out? So you'll see it in the charts. Well before any news comes out or anything like that, you'll see signs of money coming back in. So, and you also want to chart crypto market cap. So pull up the crypto market cap. I think it's total. When you go on TradingView, just type in total under the crypto tab, and it'll bring up the crypto market cap. So chart that, watch that price action as well. All right, so Winslow wants me to check out AVA. So let me pull up AVA. I don't think I've ever heard of that, but let's see what it's looking like. I'm assuming that's stock Vista. Okay, I've of course heard of this company, but just wasn't familiar with the ticker. But let's check it out. All right, so monthly. Okay, I'm already seeing a symmetrical triangle situation here on the monthly chart, so I'm going to draw that out. Here we go. So we get some lessening of the volatility. I don't know if maybe earnings is coming up or anything like that, but here on the monthly chart, it's definitely worth watching over the next several months, just to kind of see what may happen. And right now, it's kind of rejecting the top of that range. So I mean, it could be headed down toward low 40, or maybe even 39, maybe slightly below 40. So far, it's been trading between these two trend lines for the past several months now. So you can kind of take advantage of that, really, and kind of keep an eye on the volatility. But the volatility is getting lower, so that means that the range is going to get tighter. Um, but those are the two main areas that I would watch on this monthly chart. And if I were you, I would consider setting alerts on these trend lines. I know TradingView does allow you to do that. Um, I think let's see, right click, add alert. See, I'm more so a thinker swimmer. Oh yeah, add alert on trend line. So you could do that. Create, boom, and then you got that alert there. It's got the little timer there. So whenever this price action crosses that trend line, TradingView will send me an alert. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, Thinkorswim, you can do the same thing. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so that's where you're watching. That's the area that you would watch on the monthly chart. Weekly chart, you can just kind of get a better sense for, that those ranges that we saw on the monthly charts. So weekly charts, I mean, like I said, it looks like on the weekly as well that, maybe this thing is coming down toward this demand zone between maybe about 40 and 39, $38. So of course this isn't any type of investment advice, but based on the price action, that's something that I would be considering. And here you have on the weekly chart. I'm just going to make this a different color. Of course, weekly chart, there's your resistance. So notice that every time it hit that trend line, it's sold off. So that's where that's where your sellers are. Um, and keep in mind that's your most recent sentiment on the weekly chart. So breaking out of this area, it could head back up to mid 40s. It could just kind of continue consolidating as it stays in this range. But like I said, mark some alerts for probably about 44 uh, and low side about 40, 41, somewhere in there. But as long as it stays to the left of this trend line, it's going to keep drifting. It's going to keep drifting down to that 40 and below. Daily chart. Let's see what I see on the daily chart. Okay. So daily chart, going into next. Okay, it's got earnings. Earnings on Tuesday. Okay. So earnings on Tuesday. We see some indecision, possible reversal here going into next week. Tuesday, remember the markets are closed Monday, so Tuesday I will be looking to see what happens. I feel like, and I could be wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong. I feel like the markets may be bullish on Tuesday, might get a little pop, maybe not. But Friday, as of Friday's close, the markets, just the broader markets, closed at a critical area um, that is key on some higher time frames. So some key historical areas. So I feel like it may not fold right away. And when I say fold, I mean something is breaking a key level to the downside. And sometimes I'll say breakdown. That also means bearish. So what I see is a lot of indecision at these critical areas. So with earnings coming on this one, and I don't know if this one tends to run into earnings. I don't know what it does. I've never traded it. I've never really watched it on a day-to-day basis. I really don't watch it at all. It's like literally never on my radar. But watch for confirmation on Tuesday. Maybe it'll be bullish, and maybe you'll get a little move up to the $43 area on Tuesday. But so short term, heading into Tuesday's session, I would probably set an alert for like $43, or even before it gets to 43. I would say above the close of this candle, which is 42.79. Yeah, 42.79. See if the price can beat that area. Maybe it moves up over 43 if it does. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I would watch on this one. Watch to see if you get a confirmation candle, which means you would get a bullish candle on Tuesday. And that's not saying that I'm predicting that there will be a bullish candle. I'm saying watch to see if you get one, especially with this reversal type pattern here at a key level. So hopefully that helps. And of course, if it rejects that 42.79, $43 area, maybe there's some opportunity to the downside. But me personally, I don't trade earnings often. I allow myself what I like to call earnings tokens. I trade up to 5 earnings plays per year. And that's just because I don't like the odds. But I am willing to here and there take a gamble and risk a little money on earnings plays, but I don't do it more than 5 times a year. I think last year I did maybe three or four. And I want to say I lost on I won on Shop. Netflix played my face, and I'm still upset about Netflix. What happened with Netflix was, uh, and it was me and Rika actually. So we were in a group call doing a live trading session with some other chart masters, and Rika and I decided, okay, we're going to be contrarian. We're going to be contrarians on this play, and I really feel like Netflix is going to fall on earnings. 4 o'clock comes. We risked less than $100, so it wasn't a big deal. So we bought puts. Everybody, Twitter, everybody was bullish on Netflix. Bought puts, and Netflix tanked after hours. By the morning, it had almost recovered. And so for that particular earnings, whether you were in calls or puts, you lost. It was just one of those things where the market makers just shitted on everybody. Unless you were doing like a multi-leg strategy where you can, profit on like, IV crush and stuff like that and neutral price action, that's a different story. But if you were directional on that at that time, which we were bearish, then you lost. But yeah, okay, so you said paper trade, get a lot better feel for the ticker. Yes, so Winslow Shop is one of my favorite tickers. Like I've been trading Shop probably longer than I've been trading anything else. Like I've been trading Shop since, maybe like 2017, something like that. And watching Shop almost on a daily basis since then. Um, So Shop is definitely one. It's expensive, but the volatility of it, you can go way out of the money in general, and make big bread on Shop. So yeah, it's dope. I love Shop. Um, but good luck on that. I definitely I wish you well on your journey. And I think it's important to focus on a few and try to master a few before you trying to trade the whole market. And I found myself getting overwhelmed when I first started trading, because I would get upset that I missed this 10x play over here that wasn't even on my radar, um, or I missed this play over here because I was looking at something else over there. And I really had to sit down with myself and really have a serious talk with myself, like, yo, it's thousands of tickers that you can trade. Like you can't possibly watch them all. So I had to come into Jesus about that. And now I just watch a few. And I don't care what Timbuktu is doing over here. I don't care what's going on over there. Like it took me a while to get to that point to where I was emotionally and mentally unbothered by missing opportunities. And now when someone brings me one, I'm just like, yo, it wasn't on my radar. It is what it is. I can't even be upset about something that I wasn't thinking about. You know what I'm saying? And you have the opportunity to catch more moves when you just focus on a few. But that's just my opinion. That's my take on it. Any more questions? I'll go ahead and we'll take a look at Bitcoin. And I'll field another question or two in the meantime. Matter of fact, let me just get on a different exchange for Bitcoin because my KuCoin one is just marked all the way up. All right, so here's what I mean when I said that Bitcoin has been trading in a range for over a year. About February of last year, Bitcoin entered into a range. Of course, we didn't know at this time that Bitcoin was entering a range, but when you see a situation where Bitcoin was just kind of range bound here for several months, and then finally in October 2020 it broke out, and I mean it just ran. We know things don't go up forever. So at some point you gotta not buy into the euphoria and be like, all right, it's at some point this thing is gonna stop. But what you can see with this candle, when it entered the range, we got a long wick to the upside. And that long wick low key represents the top of that range. So where the sellers started to come in is right here. So really, if you are an astute person that watches price action like you really, really do this shit, you gotta sign in February of 2021 that hey, Bitcoin is entering a range. And the top of that range is around 58,000. And me, I don't necessarily like to use specific numbers. I like to use zones when I identify supply and demand. So I would say, if I were throwing out 58,000, I would probably be like 58 to 60, or maybe 58 to 62, something like that. But I'm just gonna extend this rectangle out to show y'all that zone, that range on Bitcoin. And I'm gonna extend it out a little longer. There's no telling how long Bitcoin is going to be, trading in this range. It could do it for several months. I mean, if you look back here, it traded in this range for a good minute, like a real good minute. It traded in this range right here for at least 2 years before it finally broke out and started ranging again. So for now, all you can really do is trade the range on Bitcoin. Long term, of course, on lower time frames, it might be a little different. But overall, the sentiment on Bitcoin is neutral. So people came into this most recent bull cycle, which started, probably 2 years ago. So 2020. So that would be about right here. So people came into this bull cycle right here on some shit like Bitcoin's going to 100K. And I can understand, people were euphoric right here, like, oh shit, this thing is at new all time high. This thing is gonna keep going. It's going to 100K. No, no, nothing about this said 100K, because even when price went above 30K for that month of February, sellers stepped in at 58 and pushed this thing down. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be like, okay, I need to watch that $58,000 range, and see what Bitcoin does moving forward. And this is way back in February, a year ago. So even when it was hitting like 60, people were saying the same thing. And it's just irrational exuberance. And that's why I love price action. That's why I love charts, because charts can really give you perspective about what the markets really think. Like, I don't care what the talking heads are saying about, whatever price targets that they have. All I care about is what does the chart say is possible. And so for me, I'm like, yo, right now the chart, I mean, Bitcoin been struggling at 60, that low to mid $60,000 range. I'm not thinking otherwise until we see a breakout there. And so we haven't seen it. And the bull cycle is over for now. So maybe Bitcoin comes back down to this low 30s. We know that Bitcoin hit that and held last month. We got bearish momentum that is growing on this monthly chart. So maybe we see, right now the bulls are trying hard to keep it above that low $32,000 range. So I would just keep an eye on Bitcoin, especially when it's below 40K, because that low 30s can come really fast. And so far over the past year, it gets bought up when it gets in that low 30 range. So I would set some alerts, just some longer term alerts on Bitcoin. Maybe around 34, 33. Um, I would set some alerts in that area. And then I would also set some alerts. So I like to go about halfway through the zone, the range. I would set an alert for about the $47,000 range. and of course, right at that $40,000 range. So low 40s, which now has become resistant. So as you can see, ever since Bitcoin closed below that $45,000, that's been the latest resistance on Bitcoin. So any hopefully this part will help y'all, and not to say this is the case with any of you all, but when you hear people just talking irrationally about Bitcoin, long term Bitcoin is just ranging. That's it. So you can kill that noise with, hey, Bitcoin is going here and it's going there. Chart doesn't say that that's possible at this moment. It's just ranging. Neither the bulls nor the bears are in control over Bitcoin, as far as the price action long term. Nobody knows. It's just some indecision right now. Um, so yeah, let's see if anybody else has questions. No problem, Winslow. I appreciate you. So, how many is realistic, and what sectors make the most sense? So those are very good questions, because this is something that I was really talking about. I was hammering this home in my workshops where I tell my people, yo, all you need is maybe 3 to 5 tickers. Even 5 is plenty, especially if you're watching it every day and you're talking to someone or you're watching someone that started this off watching about 7 tickers every day, and it is exhausting. And I'm talking about doing top down analysis every single day on my 7 tickers. So that ended up ballooning to like 20, and I was like, no, it's getting out of control. And what was happening was I was picking up tickers that my participants, where I found, oh, okay, I got like 10 people that are talking about this ticker, so let me watch it just so I can keep up with them. You know what I'm saying? So if they come to me with a question about that ticker, then I have something fresh in my mind that I can, maybe provide some insight because I've been watching too. So lately, I've dwindled down to 1 or 2. And the reason being is that the United States is transitioning out of the out of the expansion phase of the business cycle. And so what we've seen over the last decade plus is big tech has just been beasting, 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 beasting. And the majority of my watch list was big tech. So Shopify, Netflix, Google, Apple, Amazon, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, I got to get some diversity in my shit. So now I only watch SPY and SPX on a daily basis. I watch those two every day. I watch VIX every day. Um, and sometimes I'll go and look at my some of my old plays or my old tickers, Shopify, Google, stuff like that. But as far as like being committed to specific tickers, SPY and SPX right now. Um, what sectors make the most sense? What you need to think about, or what I suggest that you consider thinking about, is what companies, what sectors perform the best when the markets are contracting. So when the US is entering the contraction phase of the economic or business cycle. So interest rates are going up. What sectors benefit from low interest rates or high or increasing interest rates? Um, and that's if you're bullish. Now, if you're bearish, of course, I'm short tech, I'm shorting, yada, yada, yada. So I would be looking at things like maybe financials, um, uh, financials, consumer staples, and energy, things like that. Like we've seen, energy has been beasting for the past several months. And if you go back and look at like a 10-year cycle of performance across sectors, Fidelity has really good. I love Fidelity's research platform, but you can go and look at Fidelity on Fidelity's website and look at performance performance by sectors, you'll see the energy has been sucking for a decade, like no green whatsoever, and probably this year will probably be the first year where you'll see green in the energy sector. So I'd be looking at, stuff like that. Like tech isn't sexy going forward when the markets are contracting. Tech isn't the sexy thing. Um, Tech has just been the sexy thing for the past like 12 years because, low interest rates, um, expansion phase of the market cycle, things like that. But so I would be asking myself the questions, um, who benefits who benefits the most from rising interest rates, consumer staples, of course, energy and things like that, healthcare. Just look at, and this is another resource on Fidelity, or I mean, you can just Google it. You can find like graphs of what sectors perform best in each stage of the market cycle. So that's a great resource as well. Thank you for your question, Winslow. Okay, so Andrea, Square into earnings. When is Square earnings? Um, I don't uh, I don't watch Square as often as anything else, but that's a good question. So I'll take a look at Square. I'm assuming Square's earnings is this week coming, maybe. I don't know. All right, so wow. Oh shit, Square below $100. I didn't even realize below $100. Let's see. Oh man. Oh man. That's crazy. All right. So apparently I marked up Square a minute ago, saw this little supply zone, and hella missed that breakdown at about $200. Man, that would have been a short of a lifetime right there. And that's why you just can't watch a lot of stuff. But I will say that alerts help a lot, because I tend to forget what I've marked up and when and what I was thinking when I marked certain levels. So lately I've been making use of setting alerts, and I'll put notes in my alert so that when that alert triggers and I get a text message, it tells me exactly what I was thinking and what I was looking for, so that I don't really have to even go look at the chart when that alert goes off. I can just make a move based on, my notes. So that's what I would suggest. Really, I'm gonna tell you, 5 tickers. That's a lot if you're watching on a day-to-day basis. But I would say no more than 5 if you're gonna, build a watch list of tickers to study, and trade. But yeah, so Square just been straight selling off, but it has approached an old demand zone here. So I would look to see if Square kind of bounces off of this 97 to 99 area. Um, and at that point, maybe it goes, toward 110 or so. It's hard to say here on this monthly chart, but I'm going to draw a trend line that's showing where resistance is over the past several months. So about right there is resistance on the monthly chart for Square. Um, Man, this is crazy. Okay, let me look at the weekly chart. Okay, so the weekly chart, it has kind of it started to kind of range a little bit. Um and so this, as far as the weekly chart is concerned, this is the area that I'd be watching. But if I don't, Andrea, I don't know if you play earnings, if you make earnings plays. I don't, so I try not to speak in that context from my personal viewpoint or how I approach earnings, which is hardly at all. But if you are one to trade earnings, I would really just watch probably this high to mid 90s area, to see if it holds that area. If it does, maybe it could head up toward 110, uh, maybe 120, maybe even the top of this range. If the markets like what they say, I would say it likely would head toward 120. But if not, then this mid 90s area is gonna give way, and then that thing has the possibility of eventually making it down to $50, maybe. It sounds crazy, and I feel crazy for saying it, but right now it looks like it's transitioning to phase one of the market cycle. So maybe it'll range for a little bit, but with earnings coming, it looks like it's going to definitely make a move over the next couple of weeks, whether it be breaking back above 100 or falling below 95. So I would set a couple of alerts at those areas. So like I said, going into Tuesday, watching to see if 95 to 100 holds. If it does, maybe uh, a short swing up, to the bullish side. Maybe to 110 or so, 115, something like that. Um, take a look at the daily. I'm just amazed at how far Square has fallen. It's crazy. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, yeah. I would just pay attention to those couple of areas. Okay, February 24th. Okay. Just from observation, it seems that stimmy PP money. Yeah, Jigga, that was yeah, a lot of new money came in after the pandemic and with PPP, and also yeah, stimulus. Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%. And couple that with the fact that Bitcoin it transitioned into a bull cycle. And like I said, if you look it up, I don't have a link on me right now, but I'm not sure how long the bear cycles typically last, but the bull cycles typically last about 2 years before transitioning back into the bear cycle. Yeah, David, and that's something that I've been pondering on too about the banks, but they definitely not moving like I thought either. But it seems like 2021 banks kind of had a little move, just kind of jumping the gun as far as interest rates. I'd have to go back and look at some price action, but I want to say banks were doing some things about quarter three, quarter four of last year, something like that. But yeah, I definitely banks have not really had my interest with these rising interest rates. It's been more so energy, healthcare, and consumer staples for me. I appreciate your comment. Okay, so February 24th. So pretty much, what's that? Thursday? So yeah, just a couple of days. So I'd pay close attention to the daily and the 4 hour chart, Andrea, for Square at the beginning of next week. New money, as you said, riding the shitcoin wave and stuck somewhere out in open sea. Yeah, yeah, and that's the crazy thing. I'm no crypto guru by any means. Like when people come to me and ask me questions about crypto, I send them somewhere else because I'm just for me. I've been in crypto since 2017, but mine has just been buying and holding and ignoring it. I only recently started to trade crypto like 2021, maybe summertime. And people, I mean, it's just human psychology. You know, people want the illusion of quick money. They treat crypto like they treat uh the lottery. So that's why shit like Dogecoin and Shiba and stuff like that were running. Plus, they were cheap. Like, oh, I can buy 70 million Shiba, in Shiba. That's crazy. So yeah, that's yeah, I definitely agree with you. Chastity. Okay, so Chastity, these are okay, so Winslow. Chastity was just putting out the tickers that she watches on a regular basis. And again, just showing the same thing. Just watch a few, and master a few, And you'll have days where most of them won't be hitting on nothing, but maybe one of them will. And you'll have some days where all of them are hitting on something, and that's okay. And then you'll have some days where it's like, ain't none of them hitting on nothing, so let me just chill. And it takes a while to get to the point where you're like, I don't have to be in the markets trading something. And it took me a while to get there, where I would just go jump in something just to say I was in the markets today, and just losing money, doing dumb stuff. And you don't have to do that. Like, patience is the biggest thing when it comes to the markets. And you really have to discipline yourself to say, I'm just going to focus on this one. I'm going to focus on executing my plan, even if my plan is I'm sitting on my hands. Focus on executing that plan. And it can be difficult, believe me. And what I had to do was I had to stop following a lot of people, a lot of so-called market gurus, because people posting about, day in and day out, like, that shit used to fuck with me. And so I was like, yo, I gotta get this stuff out of my head, influencing how I feel about myself, influencing um what I see. So you just got to block out the noise and focus on what it is that you came to do, and don't let anybody make you feel any sort of way about what you came to do. Just focus on how you do it. That's all. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me on another Saturday night. I appreciate y'all's engagement and all that good stuff. Not sure what we'll talk about, next week, but bring some tickers if you want. Maybe we'll just make it a free fall, and I'll just let y'all throw some stuff at me, and we'll, mark it up, right here live. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. I appreciate y'all again. I'm grateful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do that. Share this video, whatever. But appreciate y'all support. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to message me. Leave them right under leave them in the comment section. I read my comments. I try to respond to all of them. So yeah, I'm happy that y'all came to kick it with me. And well wishes in your week next week. Hope I wish you guys some profitable weeks and all that good stuff. I appreciate y'all. Good night, y'all.